Have you ever wanted to finish a really important project only to find yourself staring into space or getting distracted by messages and notifications the minute you sit down? You can actually get rid of unwanted distractions and get more done by addressing just 3 key things. Hi, I'm Angela from GrowthGarden. For more than 20 years, I've been experimenting with all sorts of productivity tools and techniques, both in the corporate world and in running my own business, reading graphics. There are many reasons we get restless or distracted. But I realized that most of the time, there are just 3 main barriers that we need to tackle to get a lot more important work done. In this video, we're going to remove those barriers with 3 keys to regaining focus, and we'll include tangible actions that you can start applying right away. But first, let's answer an important question. Why are you so distracted in the first place? To answer this question, we need to have some understanding of how our brain works. All of us have a basic instinct to avoid pain and to gain pleasure. The law of least resistance says that we'll naturally move away from things that are hard to do towards things that are easier and more gratifying in the short term. Most of the products and services out there are built to take advantage of this tendency. We order takeout food because it saves us the hassle of cooking or going out. And we keep browsing social media because it's nice to feel on top of things and to see how many people like or share our posts. Deep inside, you know that watching another TikTok video isn't going to help you land your dream job. But sitting down to research and write your application just feels like so much work. So maybe another minute of TikTok? Each time you do this, you're unintentionally training your mind to give in to distractions. Once these habits get locked in place, they become really hard to break. So what we're going to do is to break those negative habits and form positive ones to help you to focus better. Ready for the first key? Let's start with a quick game. Look around your workspace and count the number of items on your desk. Now, grab your phone and count the app icons on your home screen. Finally, check your computer and see how many tabs you have open. Got your numbers? Imagine if each of those items, icons and tabs were pieces of your brain pulling your attention in different directions. How many pieces did your brain just split into? Research shows that clutter takes up both physical space and mental space. It dilutes our focus, increases stress, and worsens our productivity. Can you sense the difference here when we work with versus without clutter? So, the first thing you want to do is to declutter your work environment. To keep this simple and manageable, we're going to focus on just 3 things: your task list, your desk, and your devices. First, your task list. Less can be more. Instead of an overwhelmingly long to-do list, let's take Gary Keller's advice in the one thing. Convert your to-do list into a success list by narrowing down to only the items that will deliver your top priorities. Put everything else away for now. Second, your workspace. To complete a task, we only need a handful of items. To stay laser focused, let's clear the work desk so it only contains the items that you absolutely need to complete your success list. Personally, I do make an exception, like having some plants, a small water fountain, or something relevant to my task at hand, because I find that these calm and energize me at the same time. Third, your devices. Technological devices, especially your smartphones, can be extremely distracting. During focused work times, set your phone to silent, turn off all notifications on your phone and computer. You can also use distraction-free writing mode or other tools to limit access to distracting apps. The idea is to keep unwanted distractions out of sight, out of mind. Now, we're ready to move on to our second key for focus. It takes energy to focus and deliver great work. So, we need to prepare our body for focused work. It's like charging your phone before you leave the house to make sure you don't run out of battery halfway. We tend to brush aside our physical needs, thinking that it doesn't matter. But it does. Specifically, there are 3 things that you must take care of: sleep, food and water, and stress. First, sleep is absolutely crucial for performance. Researchers found that a sleep-deprived brain will try to steal some sleep by shutting down for 1 to 2 seconds at a time. We are usually unaware of it, but it's called micro-sleep. It negatively affects your memory, your perception, and your ability to perform complex tasks. So, don't stinge on sleep. We need 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep. But if you really cannot find the time, then at least take a power nap of 20 minutes just before you start your focus work. Second, food and water. Again, it seems obvious, yet most of us neglect this. It's hard to focus if your throat feels scratchy and your stomach is growling. Personally, I find it most effective to have some whole foods, such as hard-boiled eggs with fruits. These are not heavy enough for me to feel drowsy, but not too light for me to feel really hungry either. Keep yourself hydrated with a glass of water on the table, but not so much that you keep going to the toilet. Third, a healthy dose of stress. A small amount of stress actually helps you to stay alert so you can focus and perform better. But too much stress can cause anxiety, reduce our cognitive capabilities, and the quality of our decisions. So we need to find that balance. For me personally, it helps to create some manageable stress by setting an artificial deadline for myself. It must be tight enough that I must really push myself to get it done, but not so much that it becomes dysfunctional. I actually have a mini ritual. I like to take a few deep breaths with my eyes closed to ground myself and focus on the end goal for the session. Then, this might seem a bit corny, I literally shout, "Woohoo, let's go!" It's like the start of a race. That blend of groundedness and energy actually works best for me. But of course, that's totally optional, just sharing it. But now we've cleared away the clutter, prepared our body for the task at hand, and now it's time for the last key. Remember how the brain instinctively avoids pain and pursues pleasure? Given a choice, it will choose the easiest and shortest route. Here's an opportunity to hack your brain or to trick it into cooperating with you. Basically, an ambitious goal can be really exciting. But when we think of all the tasks and challenges in between, we tend to think of them as something that we must endure to get to the results at the end. So we actually dread the process of getting there, and these negative feelings tend to lead to procrastination and the loss of motivation. So we're going to use 3 ways to prevent our brain from thinking this is too hard and to get it to think, hey, this seems easy and fun. First, reframe the task. If a task feels too big or challenging, try breaking it down into manageable steps. Wait, you don't need to do a detailed plan because that in itself can feel daunting. So here's how reframing works. Writing a book is definitely a big task. So we can reframe it into something much simpler, like writing the introduction, writing 500 words a day, or you can even reframe it into something more interesting, like exploring a new chapter or developing a character's backstory. The second approach is to switch to teacher mode. We can tie ourselves in knots trying to overthink a problem. Yet, when you try to teach someone something, you tend to keep things really simple. So just imagine that you're advising an inexperienced friend on how to tackle the problem or the task at hand. How would you explain the first steps that he or she must take? And ta-da! You just found your answer. Third, use mini treats. If all else fails, set a timer for 25 minutes and just get started on the task. Promise yourself a reward at the end of the session if you manage to focus exclusively on the task for the entire duration. When the time is up, enjoy the treat. Then start the cycle again once you're ready. You're basically using the reward at the end of the 25 minutes to get yourself going. But the truth is, once you get started, you probably get so engrossed in the task that you don't even want to stop when the time is up. In which case, just keep going. We've just explored how to use the 3 keys, the environment, the body, and the mind, to help you break free from the top barriers to focus. These are the best of all the tips, techniques, and hacks that I've tried and tested over the years, combined into my own 3-part formula. If you wish to deep dive into some of these areas, here are the top books where I drew the most inspiration from. I've included the links to the free book summaries from Reading Graphics, so you can basically read them very quickly. As you apply these tips, you gradually train your brain to become more focused and less susceptible to distraction. Within a matter of weeks, you start to notice a real difference in both the length and the depth of your concentration. The key is to take action right now. Pick 1 tip from each of the 3 categories, drop a comment below, and let us know how it goes. Check out this video to find out how you can focus on the things that make the biggest impact.